Madge Madigan. Welcome to another episode. And I am here always with my trusty producer.
I'm trusty now.
You're always trusty.
It was lovely last time, and now I'm trusty. That's okay.
I don't know. I got to make up something next week. You'll be fabulous, perhaps.
Oh, right.
But this is Fitz.
I love being fabulous.
Scott Fitzgerald.
Hi.
Of RockFox Studios.
Hi.
He provides this lovely, well, not totally provides, but.
Yeah, I didn't. Well.
He didn't give it away. No. But no, Scott is the proprietor of RockFox Studios, this lovely studio that we're in for all of your recording needs, right?
That's right.
Can you do radio spots?
I can.
Oh, okay.
As a matter of fact.
Radio spots, jingles. You want to do a podcast? You want to do some... I was going to say something very blue. Never mind.
Blue?
I was going to say, you want to put up something on Pornhub? No.
I could help with that. Real quick story.
Yeah.
One of the first clients that I never got here, but I almost got, it was one of the first ones, was someone who wanted to do all the audio for virtual sex, virtual, like we had to bring in a bunch of girls to lip sync the moaning. Thankfully, I did not get that gig. It would have been very lucrative. However, I don't know how.
Perhaps I could apply for that voiceover. Well, hey, I want to introduce my guest today. We have someone who's been, see if you can guess. We have Todd Youngman, who has been a fan of stand-up comedy since he was a very small child. He actually started doing stand-up comedy later in life at 40 years old. That was yesterday.
Yep.
He is not only a stand-up comedian, he is also the marketing manager at comedy at the Carlson in Rochester, New York. Please welcome Todd Youngman.
I'll clap for myself.
Woo! That's quite all right.
We don't hear applause anymore.
We'll do the wave.
I haven't heard applause.
I mean, if you want it, we can.
Yay!
That's forced.
Yeah,
but thank
exactly.
you, Scott. That was nice of you.
So, all right. So since you're speaking of, we'll just go right to this. Since you're talking about not hearing applause.
Yeah.
What the hell's up with that?
Well, I mean, the short of it is coronavirus happened.
Well,
have you heard about this?
No. Could you
It's all the rage.
tell me?
Started
Really?
back in March. Yep.
Oh.
Started back in March. And we had to close down. The club had to close down.
Yeah.
Understandable.
Mm-hmm.
But then they started opening things up like around May, right? And they're like, opening up in phases. And we're a restaurant and tavern. We have a restaurant tavern license.
Mm-hmm.
And Bob Duffy's office said, hey, you're a restaurant tavern. Go ahead. Open up. Follow these rules. You're good. We did for 4 weeks. And then Governor Cuomo's office said, no comedy. Comedy's illegal. We're in comedy prohibition right now.
my
That's what it is. Comedy prohibition.
It's just like the McCarthy era.
Right. It's illegal. If you do it, you're bootlegging. So we had to shut down, and that was the first week of July. We haven't done any. But this is the other thing: we were able to book live music. We just couldn't do comedy. Yeah, I know. I see your eyes. It's a real head scratcher. But so we did. We booked bands. We had that going on. We showed a movie a couple times. We got our New York State movie license.
Really?
Yeah. So.
Yeah, because I knew the whole thing about the incidental music stuff because John, my guy, has a
that guy
he has a thing that does that stuff, and he has he has a little pub, and we had to kind of put the kibosh on the music, or just we couldn't advertise,
right.
But it could be incidental.
Right. That people just would have to be out for dinner and like, oh my gosh, look, a band.
Yeah.
I love how Comedy at the Carlson did that too.
What, that we did music?
Yeah.
When
it was like
how Mark did, he advertised it as like Brass Taxi Chili tonight. Yeah. It was very clever.
Great.
Come on out Friday. We're having the Isotopes chicken.
Oh, you're speaking in code.
Yeah. So that's how we, went. But he did it on his personal page, right? Scott wasn't on there. He did it.
Yeah.
I think we kind of did that too. We tried to be clever.
But the bands could advertise it. They could tell their friends. We just couldn't because we're the venue.
Really?
They felt it would cause like a mass hysteria, a rush of people coming out to see local bands. And I think that's why they stopped doing. They thought that if we did comedy shows, people are going to come out in droves, but people are still kind of weary.
Yeah, right.
And there's some people who just want to come out and do things. There are those people.
Yeah.
And when we were open for those 4 weeks, we had, the most we had a total of 50 people for one show, but we were able to do 160 in the room. So it shows you that.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, did you follow the occupancy rules
to a T? And we even added things like little forearm pulls that you put on the restroom door to open the door.
Oh, okay. I didn't know what you were getting at there.
Yeah.
Forearm pulls.
Sounds blue.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. So we did all that, but
So are you still fully functioning there?
We're not fully functioning.
Are
but
you
we're
still
open.
employed?
Yeah, I'm still employed, but we're still doing things to keep the name out there and keep the business. Let everybody know we're still here.
Yeah. Good. Very good. Okay. So let me backtrack and get to you.
Yeah.
Let's get to know Todd, shall we?
Yeah, but before we do that, let me ask you about the Madge. Before I know it's like the nickname for Margaret.
Well,
right?
Yeah.
But also Madonna uses it.
No. No.
And the lady with the palm olive.
That's where it came from.
Right. And do you hate that?
No. I actually had the name before Madonna, and I heard that she hates it. So whatever, girl.
Okay.
So that was given to her by the British press. But anyway, mine came from in college. I went to college in Maine.
Yeah.
And I was a broadcasting major, and I had a show on the radio, and like around the dorm and stuff, I had a lot of guy friends. They were from Maine or from Massachusetts, and they're like, "Oh yeah, what's your name, Margaret?" Yeah. So they're like, Margaret, that's too long. Then they call you something else. What Margaret? Well, how do we call you, Marge? But they kept saying it. They'd introduce me. This is our friend Madge.
Yeah.
They're like, what, Madge? Like the palm olive lady? And so I just one day was like, my show's going to be called Soaking in It with Madge.
And it's perfect.
It was in the early 80s, so people thought it was hilarious. Now, like 3/4 of the people don't know what it is.
Oh, I know. But Madge
I'll never forget Madge.
Oh, neither will I. Those commercials were the best. Yeah.
You're soaking in it.
They come in, the women are like, "Oh, Madge, I've been at a rummage sale all day." And she'd be like, "I know, look at those fingers." And then she'd have them like that little Petri dish and they'd soak in it. Yeah. And they'd be like, she'd be like, "That's palm olive." And like, and imagine going to her. Imagine going to her for your nails and she's got you soaking in dish soap.
I know. It's like, why? You can just do that shit at home.
Right.
Why pay Madge to put your hands in dishwashing liquid? And I think that was why they got so, incredulous. Is that the right word I'm looking for? Like dishwashing liquid. So
yeah. But anyway.
Yeah.
Madge, I'm soaking in it.
Yes. Yeah. It's palm olive. Because now we still all have dishpan hands.
Do we?
So we all just slave. Us women, us suburban housewives. Yeah. We just
Well, that's what it was geared towards.
Yeah.
It was there was no men coming in to see Madge.
No. Well, I still love Madge, although she thinks she's dead.
Oh, she's got to be dead.
Yeah.
Scott, dead?
Sure.
Yeah.
Dead?
Okay.
Scott? Okay.
Yeah.
Take a poll.
Okay.
We've declared her dead. Anyway, so you, my friend, you decided to start to reinvent yourself, did you, at 40 or not so much?
It wasn't a reinvention. Like you said, I've been a fan of comedy my whole life. Like I grew up watching, the HBO specials, the Carlins. You probably watched them too.
Yep.
Like I always say, I learned more from, 6 George Carlin HBO specials than I did my entire career in the Brighton Central School District. Like I learned about life through those specials. And it's funny, but I really feel that. But I grew up with that. I grew up with The Tonight Show. If there was a good comic on, I'd ask my parents if I could stay up late, especially if Rickles was on. I had no idea what he was talking about, but it was funny. And to see my dad laugh at that, I love that. So
my parents hated him.
Really?
I didn't care for him, but later in life, I loved him.
You appreciate him.
Yeah. I don't know. I think maybe my parents were like, "Oh, he's crass" or some baloney. But later in life, I thought he was like the pinnacle of insult comic.
Oh, he is.
Hilarious.
He is the pinnacle. Mm-hmm. And the funny thing, they thought he was crass, but he never swore.
I know.
It was more off color about race, creed, all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
But never an F-bomb. Never swore on stage.
You know what? you know what's really funny now that I'm just thinking about it? My parents did really like George Carlin. Yeah.
I see where they got their priorities.
Yes. Yes. Well, I'm the youngest of 6 kids. So at 55, I had all hippies, my one brother, Michael. Hi, Michael. Again, this is 2 podcasts
Michael.
in a row. I said, hi, Mike. So he was, he would play that and National Lampoon, I think, had an hour. This was in the early 70s.
Yeah.
And they had a show in Firesign Theater.
Yes, they had albums too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so anyway, my brother was always playing this stuff. And I think that my parents liked the cleverness of it. Like how, his bit about oxymorons and, jumbo shrimp and, so they just like that cleverness. But
It's
I know
clever,
it doesn't make any sense.
I get it. Yeah. But I did.
anyway.
I was a huge fan of comedy, even sitcoms like Three's
Yeah, me
Company,
too.
all that stuff.
Yeah.
I loved it, and it's something I always wanted to try. I never tried it in my 20s because I cared what people thought about me, and then in my 30s I was. Now I don't. I mean, once you have kids and you change a couple shitty diapers, all humility goes out the window, right?
Honey, yeah.
Yeah, so in my 30s, I was raising kids and doing the whole family thing, and then the only reason I even got the nerve to even try stand-up comedy is because, and this is not to play the sad violin, but in the early 2000s, the mid 2000s, I was going through a lot of crap, like lost
Other than the diapers?
the diapers, but lost 3 jobs, right?
Oh,
No fault of my own. Companies just went under, lost them on unemployment a couple times. My father passed away.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And, no, don't. It's all right. It's been a long time.
I'm sorry. That's just an
Yeah, I know.
involuntary
Everybody
reaction.
says that. Yeah. But, and I filed bankruptcy too.
Oh, been
so,
there, yeah.
and it's pretty much a country song. So, all that
What happened
combined-
to the dog?
No,
Is the
well,
dog-
you know
is the
what?
dog okay?
Yeah, the dog did die during one of my. That's right. Thank you.
Yeah.
So it is a country song.
Did you
It's
drive a pickup
officially
truck?
my life is a country song. The early 2000s.
Did you wear jeans a
Me
lot
too.
No.
Okay.
Wranglers?
Was yours too?
Oh, yeah.
It was yeah.
We almost have an identical life. Early 2000s. I got divorced. All 3 kids were under the age of 7.
Oh.
I was a stay-at-home mom, and
Yeah.
I had to do bankruptcy. Then he disappeared for a while. I raised them by myself. Yeah, lost several jobs. Although I think a few of them were my fault.
You're doing? Yeah.
But it was because I can't come in, kids. I just can't. I'd be late and whatever.
Right.
I could have done better, but I was in my 30s.
Yeah. So you kind
shit
of
happens.
you get it, and
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
and the bankruptcy thing, that was something. It was like a dirty word to me. Like I felt I couldn't tell anybody.
I
Like it
know.
was so embarrassing. But then
Me too.
And it wasn't until I started seeing a therapist because my life was
Been there
spinning.
too.
It was spinning out of control, and I went to see this therapist, and he taught me that I had to be told that it's not a bad thing because people file bankruptcy, and
Yep.
you might be helping somebody else by telling them you did it. That you're not perfect. Life isn't perfect, and maybe they might be in the same situation and want to do it and have been pushing it off and are afraid to admit it. So I did it, and one of the first things when I first met with this therapist, he asked me, "What are 2 things you've always wanted to do?" And I said, "I've always loved to have been an actor or try stand-up comedy." And he goes, "Well, why can't you?"
God, I think we were separated at birth.
We are. And so he said, let's go do an open mic. I said, nah, I'm too old. Why bother? And then that's a cop out. He didn't like that. Got yelled at. And
Ooh.
right. Oh yeah. He's very firm.
My goodness.
Yeah. So so he got on his computer, found a place that was doing open mic, Love and Cup out at RIT.
Oh yeah.
Yep, they were doing
So when was it? What year?
2010. This was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I had moved back here. So,
yeah.
Okay.
So I went and did it. Huge failure, terrible. I came back. He wanted a full report. Told him how bad it was. Bad. Like I followed a guy playing the harp. It wasn't just comedy. It wasn't just comedy.
Well,
It was everything. Poetry.
Yeah.
Whatever people wanted to do, they could do. And he said, "Well, you need to go."
read from a book, and he was better than me.
He was great.
I mean, he read from a
He
book.
read
but
the phone book. So
it was highly entertaining.
Was it Andy Kaufman up there? or-
no.
Here I come to
To
save
sa-
the
oh,
day.
how great
Sorry.
Andy Kaufman. I mean, I could go back and forth with you probably on stand-ups.
That's
from
what
the
we
past.
do on the show.
Yeah, all right. So if I keep going off the rails, don't mind me.
Yeah.
here.
Isn't that the subtitle of the show,
Yes.
Scott?
Going off the rails?
Tangents.
Yeah.
I'm I'm the worst. Tangents
Tangents
with Madge.
with Madge. So yeah, I and then he said, "Well, let's find a comedy club." And he found Mark Ippolito had, he was managing the club the comedy club out in Webster. Right? And so there was a showcase that night. So, or coming up, and he said, "Go try this, and come back, and I want to report." And I did it, and I got some laughs. And once you get those laughs, I don't know if you've tried stand up.
I have.
Yeah. So you're kind of hooked at that point. You're like, oh my God, it's working. And it wasn't just people that knew me in the crowd, and I got some laughs. So it was very gratifying. And after that, I went up to Mark Ippolito after the show, and I didn't know him at all. I just said, what do I need to do to keep doing this? And he told me, just keep coming to shows, watch shows, get to know comics, talk to comics, ask questions. And I did. I went, for weeks and would pay to come in on Fridays and Saturdays, watch shows. Good. And then eventually, he would let me do 5-minute sets, on Thursdays, and it kind of, groomed me to get better. And then,
Excuse me, sorry, I'm not sick.
That's all right. You sure?
Yeah.
All right. Because you had a cough drop earlier.
It's dry in here.
I know. But can you imagine if the cough drop was the cure to the coronavirus?
Oh my God.
It would be so easy. And we've all been like pulling our hair out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I know.
It
It
just-
would be season.
Just a Ludens.
It's not even a cough drop. It's a
Smith
Werther's
Brothers had the
original.
cure.
That's all. Yeah, just a Werther's. And they're not cough drops, they're throat lozengers.
Yes.
Lozenge.
A lozenge.
A lozenge.
I love that name.
Ricola.
So that's what I did.
Thank you.
That's what I did, and that's how I got into comedy. And then I started working my way up to hosting and featuring, and
So
yeah.
has that been your main occupation, or?
No, I'm also what?
But I mean, before. So
Oh, before that, no.
Right,
I mean,
yeah.
I had
Before the gig
I
at
had
the
jobs.
Commonwealth.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. For years I worked for a mail order catalog company out in Chila called Home Trends Catalog.
Oh yeah.
And that company went under when the
Yes.
owners died in a plane crash.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but it as terrible as that was, and it was a terrible time in my life, that was right around the time Mark was leaving the comedy club in Webster to start what is now Comedy at the Carlson. And him and Suresh Goel, Dr. Goel,
Yep.
they started it together, and they brought me on as the marketing manager. So it was,
Yay.
as horrible as that was, it was something that led, how they say another door opens.
Yeah.
But back in the early 2000s, no doors were opening. It was
Oh.
it was a bad time.
Girl,
for me.
let me tell you.
Girl, you bugging.
I was like lost in a maze.
Yeah.
I couldn't find an opening to save my life. Oh yeah. But I'm over that now.
And look at you. You're all grown up.
Yeah. And so are my kids.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yay.
Speaking of my kids, okay, you guys saw my coat when I came in.
Yeah.
It's just this fuzzy little.
It's great.
Yeah. And so two-thirds of my kids are home right now. I'm really sad that my son is not going to come home for Thanksgiving, but we decided it was best because he lives in New York City.
Yeah. Stay there.
Yeah, but I think he's in more danger coming up here to Monroe County
Seems like
than
it.
down there. But anyway, so the girls came home. Well, my youngest, she goes to Syracuse, and she has to come home till January. And then the other one lives in Connecticut, and she's 23, and she's going to come and stay. She works from home, so she's going to stay for a while.
Oh, good.
So anyway,
But
I
so are you
digress.
any of those? Would you rather them not be home, or are you happy with them all being home?
It depends on the day. No, yes, I like that. I love my kids. They're like my best friends, and I know that's so lame and
No, I
predictable,
agree. I'm the
but
same way.
They're hilarious. They're my best friends. So so today, they got up at the crack of noon 30.
Oh,
and
good.
so I live in the city, so I just have one long driveway that has the, all the cars, and so when somebody wants to go and you're not first in line, it's like, can you move your car? So they asked me to move my car, so I threw on this, and I have on like skinny black pants, and then I have these utility shoes by the door that to just slip on, and a pair of old red Crocs.
Nice.
So I put them on that, and my youngest daughter is like, God, Mom, you look like a hooker that just got off duty.
Oh yeah. Where you're like, you're right.
And I was
Off duty.
yeah. And at first I was just like, I was trying to think of, and I'm like, yeah. And she's like, well, no, but the Crocs, because, your feet are tired. Look like you just had a hard night. Yeah. And I said, well, it wouldn't be my feet that would be tired.
Yeah.
Oh,
Zing. Well, that's a good, she roasted you good.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
That's what I love about my children.
Yeah. That's good. You raised them right.
I did.
And I like what you said. They're like your best friends.
Oh, they
if
are.
you raise your kids right, you end up with best friends.
And, they are. And I'm so happy that my son, he's not coming home, but I'm really happy that my kids ended up being conscientious and compassionate and that other people are, it's good to be whatever the words I'm groping for. So anyway. Okay, we were talking about, I have a similar story and I'm not going to go on about it because you're the guest, not me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've told this story so many times on the show.
But I've never heard it.
I know. That's what I was going to say.
This is just you and me.
So I know.
Yeah.
Okay, so fuck you people.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
And Scott.
So, if you've heard this before, just go to the bathroom.
Go tug
right now.
it. Yeah.
Oh, well,
Right.
there's that too. Whatever you like.
Did you go upstairs again? Oh, no, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's the good guy on the Pornhub, the voiceover, sex voiceover. Anyway, sorry, I digress. So, what the fuck was I talking about?
You saying how our lives are parallel somehow with the comedy.
Oh, so the story. When I was in college, or when I was in high school, it was time for to go to college, and I'm come from a long line of overachievers that college was not an option; it was mandatory. So my parents were college graduates and all that jazz.
Yeah.
So they're looking. My dad's like, so what do you think you want to go to college for? And I'm like, I'd really like to study theater. And my dad, without missing a beat, says, I'm not going to pay for you to go to college to become a waitress.
Yeah.
And it was like, ew. And I'll never forget that, but I'm over it. But
You
he was
are.
right. You know
But
what?
did you get into acting?
No. I mean, I
Okay.
had done it all growing up. I did summer workshops and all kinds of stuff. But I did the next best thing, supposedly broadcasting.
Yeah.
And it was funny. It was actually my father, and I was always an audiophile. I loved music, and I was a real punk new wave kid back then. And my father's brother had been the president of ABC News until he died in 1975.
Okay.
So anyway, so my dad's like, oh, try that. So I did that. So, but then, then I got married. I was in, like I said, radio and TV here for several years. And then I got married and had kids and then got divorced. And then he kind of was out of state and not in the picture for a while.
Yeah.
And I had no income from him or whatever. He just kind of went MIA. And so I just did whatever. I tried so many damn things. I tried to sell print. I was an admin assistant. I was a realtor. You name it, I did it. But then we moved back here so I could better, it was easier here. About, 5 years ago, I don't know how or why, but I've always wanted to try stand-up. And I grew up, I was absolutely addicted, obsessed with Saturday Night Live from the first season.
Okay.
I wasn't supposed to watch it because I was
It's very
12?
dirty.
But,
Yeah.
So I would go out there and I didn't understand half of, but I thought it was hilarious. And I wanted to be Gilda Radner. So I'd always wanted, and I don't know, somebody was trying to look, just try it. What have you got to lose? And I did. Do you know Uncle Trent?
Of course.
Trent, yeah. He used to host that. You might have been there. He used to host a little comedy competition at the Photo City Improv.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my very first try out of the box, I won that night. Or did I come in second? I think I don't know. I won or I came in second. But, a lot of it.
Who's Next? It was called, right?
Yes. That's, yeah.
Yeah.
And so.
Who got next or who's next?
Yeah. Or something like that. whatever.
It was hip.
I got next. Yeah.
Yeah.
So who's got next? I don't know. Whatever. So so I won or got second or something, and so but also part of it was like how many people you brought in.
Okay.
It was like those.
Yeah.
What do
It's
they call those?
bringer
Show.
Yeah.
And so I brought a lot of people, but I think I was like minorly funny, and so I was kind of like, oh yeah, this is great, and then I started going more, and then it was like I kind of got worse and worse.
Yeah. It did.
And for me,
Yeah.
I didn't really have anybody telling me. I was just kind of, groping in the dark, doing it myself. And I don't know, I got discouraged real quick.
Less than a year?
Oh God.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
that quick.
Maybe maybe not. I don't even know if I made it to 6 months.
Oh, okay.
But it was also not my crowd at those. I mean, because everybody has certain crowds.
You do.
I think mine is. I'm very like I have a lot of. I think I would be big in the gay community, which I mean I am, but I mean as far as funny stuff goes, and because you know who I loved? My Kevin Meaney.
Oh.
So my stuff was kind of like his, like campy and saying stuff. So but yeah, I got that. I just started to fall flat, so I gave it up. But also, at the time, the comedy community was very. I don't know what the word is. They were just like eating themselves.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
they
I
were
do.
very, very. Everybody was very angry towards each other and I was like, "Bitch, I don't need this."
Yeah.
So
there was a lot of that. To Kevin Meaney, I don't know if you knew that he's was one of my dear friends, and Mark as well. And so much so, we named the main showroom at Comedy at the Carlson the Kevin Meaney Showroom. But Kevin, I got to perform. I opened for him at his very last show, which was at the Batavia Downs racetrack out in, not Batavia Downs, the Finger Lakes, out in Farmington. It was just it was a fundraiser for a horse farm locally, and Mark had booked both Kevin and I on it. And Kevin would always, like, if he was in regionally somewhere, he would always ask for me to open, and it was quite an honor, And that night we had gone, we did the show, and at that show, like, he had said, I'm thinking about doing a Netflix special, and I was, if you would like to, I'd love to have you write some things, and maybe we could use them. I'm like, oh, that's great, I'd love to. So we did the show, and I took him back to the hotel, was just right up the road. We said goodbye, blah, blah, blah. And I said, I'll text you. And this was on a Saturday night. I said, I'll text you Monday, and we'll start, maybe, batting some ideas back and forth. So I texted him. We did a little bit that day, and then we hung up, and then we said, let's do it again on Friday. And I texted him, and no response. And then later that day, my friend Sky Sands had texted me and said, just a text that said, "Is it true?" And I'm like, "What? Is what true?" He goes, "Kevin Meaney died?" And I had no idea.
Yeah.
So then with the phone chain, I called Mark, and Mark calls his agent, and then we got verification, and it was something that floored us all.
Yeah,
out of the blue.
Yeah, I was devastated. He died in his sleep, right? Or,
No, he was home.
I knew he was home.
Yeah, just a massive heart attack.
I knew. Yeah.
And I think they found him in his kitchen. He was supposed to be at an event, and everybody's like, "Oh, where's Kevin? He's late." This didn't like him. And then some people went to the house and found him. So, yeah, right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's bring this mood back up. Sorry. No, I know. I absolutely adored him. I mean, I still to this day. Yeah, I mean, you are so lucky to have been so close to him.
Yeah, no, it was great.
I met him a few times. It's just like, oh, hey, whatever. I mean, God, because he used to. Do you remember Scorgies?
Yes.
Was there was a comedy club upstairs at some point or something?
Well, there was Yuck Yucks was down.
I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
I knew when he first started coming there, and I still to this day will do the I don't care.
Everybody does that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or we're big pant people.
Oh my God. See, that was the other thing. His family, his jokes about his family. I was like,
you could
it was
totally
my
relate,
family.
right?
Yeah.
Right. You could totally relate. And you know what I love most is when he came out. He came out as gay,
Yep.
and his act, stayed the same. He used the same material for like 30 years, but would pepper in a lot of the new gay stuff.
Yeah.
And it was just such a neat a contrast of the acts,
Yeah.
just to hear how he's dealing with, having come out, being married, has a daughter, how he got, his wife found out he was gay, which is a great story.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's just, and how he had to tell his mother, and I love the dynamic of that added to his 30-year-old act.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. He was great. So anyway, that was, I've tried, I don't know. I'm trying to reinvent myself. After my last kid went to college, because I'd raised them basically all by myself.
Yeah.
Especially for the last, since my son was in high school forward, there was no contact and stuff. So I did it all by myself. So that was my whole life.
Yeah.
Was children. And I loved it. And I still love it. Like I said, they're my best friends. I got them all to college, and it was like, okay, now what do I do?
Yeah.
And that was a little hard to figure out at first, but like I said, I tried that.
Would you ever try it again?
I've thought about it.
Yeah.
Because I was watching my old videos, and it was like, oh Jesus, my delivery sucks ass.
Yeah.
So
but a lot of it too was that show you did was a bringer show. You brought people, and they give you that false confidence.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
There might have been some funny stuff. I'm not saying what you did wasn't funny. I wasn't there.
Oh no.
But they're also going to laugh either, to support you or uncomfortably because they don't want you to feel bad, right?
Oh,
that's a good
so
one.
Funny.
Madge is adorable. She's really soaking in it up there.
Yeah, I was soaking in it all right. And I remember just one of my jokes was in these times of being politically correct and everything, I just wanted to tell you that I was originally born a woman, and so if you see me in the men's room, buy me a drink.
Do you get a laugh?
Yeah.
See?
But sometimes I would be like, buy me a drink. So anyway,
right. That's the nervous.
Yeah. And I because also I don't think I had enough confidence to be like, hold for, not applause, laughter or whatever. And it was just like, okay, nobody's laughing. But I found that a lot of times the laughter doesn't come unless you pause.
Sometimes.
Yeah. It's like,
you got to give a joke a little breathing room.
Exactly. That's it. Thank you.
Yeah.
So are you still doing
stand-up?
Stand-up? Yeah.
Well, this summer I did. Right when the last show was canceled, I was actually hosting for Mateo Lane, who was here that weekend. And we were able to do the Thursday show. Then we got word that you can't do Friday and Saturday. So we're like, okay. But then somebody reached out to me on my Facebook Messenger, said, hey, we were going to come to the show to celebrate. I got my PhD, where a bunch of us were going to come out.
You were going to say something else. No. Okay. Yes.
So she got her PhD, and they said, would you want to come and perform on our deck and do a show there for 15 people? I said, yeah, sure. Threw out a figure. They were fine with it. I went and did it. And then I posted on Facebook, I just did this show on someone's deck. I'd be happy to, if you have any parties or whatever, I'll come out and do them, and have deck will travel, I said. So
there you go.
And it got me 7 gigs.
That's fantastic, which reminded me, I loved that, I don't know if it was a meme or whatever, but you put out kind of a fake poster of where you'll be performing.
Yes.
That was hilarious.
Right. I have a booked winter. I'll be performing sitting on my couch, or you can join me as I yell at my children one weekend.
Exactly. Can I ask Todd a question?
Yeah, sure.
No. Yes.
I know this is Madge unmuted, but Fitz is not muted either. What's the dynamic like when you're doing a show on a deck for 15 people as opposed to a room of 100, 200 people?
Yeah, it was at first it was really weird. It was very almost difficult because you got to get their attention. Everybody's pretty much buzzed, and there's more so than a club because they'd already been having their little party, And it was hard at first, but then you get you kind of get a groove with the idea of what you're doing. So it's going to be 10 to 20 people, it's small amounts of people. And I was able to try out some new stuff. Like I've never had a drink of alcohol in my life. No, I'm not joking. I've never
Really?
no drugs, nothing. So I was doing a bit. I've always wanted to do a bit about how I never did it. And I could barely get that out. Like the fact that once I say I've never had a sip of alcohol, then they start throwing back things. Like it's such a small thing that they feel they can talk to me like this is just a small group therapy.
It's interactive.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Oh, group therapy. Right.
But
Exactly.
that's what I loved about it, Scott. Like I love the fact that I could stand there and these people, they were basically giving me material by what they were asking, they were helping me with this news, but they didn't know that. But I would leave and write that. Oh, that was good. I need to add that.
It was like a focus group. That's pretty.
It really was, and every single one, it was that way because they, A, they're bombed, and B, it's so small they feel like they can just chime in and ask questions, and I had no problem with it.
See, that's so funny. That's what I'm better at. Like
crowd work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because stand up, it's like, okay, be funny.
Yeah.
And I do better with people interacting. Like that's why I have Fitz, because he's funnier than me.
Yeah, it's good to have someone to bounce off
we're
of.
both that way, Madge. We're both reactive.
We are.
In the situation, and that's
we both know all the pop culture references
from 30, 40 years ago.
Useless crap, right?
Oh my God, I'm the queen of useless crap.
I have so much useless. But crowd work's a good thing. Like there's comics like Mike Dambra. I don't know if you know Mike. Mike was a Rochester guy, but he lives in Canada now. Earl David Reed.
He's back again.
Yep, that's all they do is crowd work. If they do a written joke, maybe one or two, but the majority of their show is crowd work, and it's genius. Just like Rickles.
I was going to say, who was it? Was it Jimmy Schubert that does that too? Or he just kind of sits on a stool and just...
No.
Was that not him?
No.
Somebody else.
He'll talk, but he doesn't. It's not the majority of his act.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It was somebody else someone who had always been on the Wheeze show.
Yeah.
Like for years and years and years. So I don't know. Maybe it wasn't.
But crowd work's a whole different art. Like that's a talent to be able to go up there for 45 minutes and just talk to people and make it,
Yeah. See, maybe I will give it a go again. I'll just talk to people, talk shit to people all night.
Yeah. Just wait till this coronavirus thing.
Yeah. Or maybe I'll just do some decks.
Yeah.
Decks.
In the
Perform
winter?
on a deck.
In
Oh,
the
yeah.
winter, that's great.
Oh, my God. That would be...
Yeah. Winter deck shows.
Exactly.
Yeah. You have a whole new niche.
I'll just make a bunch of snowmen and talk to them. All right. So what do you got? What do you got coming up? What's the plan? I mean,
there's nothing. Like you asked, like what did I do shows? I actually drove to Cleveland a couple weeks ago just to see a friend.
Sorry.
Yeah, just see a friend headline. I wanted to see comedy so bad. My friend Chris Allen was doing a show there on a Sunday night. He was headlining. So I went, saw the show, and when I got there, he said, "I want you to do 10 minutes. Do 10 minutes." So I went up and did 10 minutes ahead of him, and it was such a great feeling to be inside a comedy club. It was 100 people, socially distanced, and it was just great to get up and tell some jokes again and hear some laughter.
Just speaking of that real quick, that made me think of something. Did you ever see I guess he did more than one, but I only saw Chappelle doing Out in the Field.
Yeah, in his farm, the farm.
Yeah, the farm
in Ohio.
And then did you hear his monologue on Saturday Night Live?
It was great.
Talking about
So
people
good.
saying it's
Yeah, the guy on the TV.
Yeah, that was
a great line.
That was great.
Yeah, it was a great monologue.
Yeah, that was.
I love
Check
it
it
when
out
they
if you-
have comics on because the monologues are that much better.
Oh yeah. And I thought I read something that they were gonna try and stick more to that.
I hope so.
Yeah.
It'll be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they've had
'Cause
John
this-
Mulaney, Bill Burr, Dave Chappelle,
Yeah.
True comics doing a monologue for 10, 15 minutes. It's just better than watching, The Rock go up and,
Exactly.
and do a couple jokes, and then it turns into a song and dance, and they're running throughout the studio. And I don't know. That's just me. Maybe some people like that, Madge. I don't know.
I don't know, but I think because sometimes it seems a bit labored or forced or tedious or whatever. You have somebody that's I don't know, somebody,
like
Justin,
Robert De Niro, and he's up there dropping one-liners, and you're like, oh, this is terrible.
yeah, or
just
like
terrible.
someone like a singer, Justin Bieber or something that has absolutely no. I mean, they're stiff as a board, and like, okay, just stick to singing your little songs, and yeah.
I don't know if you've seen it or watched it on Netflix. David Letterman's interviews. Have you watched those? They're great. The one with Chappelle is fantastic. I just watched it last week. It's so good. If you get a chance, check that out. It's a great interview. The guy's so interesting.
Oh yeah, I know it's on my list, and I swear to God, but I actually need to write this list down.
I know.
Because I'll be like, oh, I want to watch this, and I'll watch the Crown season 4 beginning to end, and then it's like, well, okay.
Isn't it funny though? Like, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I mean, here I am talking. You're interviewing me, and I'm babbling over here.
Go ahead.
But it's always like people are like, "Oh my God, you would love." I love when they preface it with, "You would love." Have you seen the Queen's Gambit? You'd love it. Yeah. And I'm like, no. You know what? And honestly, I still have to watch. I haven't watched Seinfeld. I've seen 2 episodes.
No. I'm glad I'm not alone.
I don't you never have either.
When people say, "Oh my God, that's that Seinfeld episode," and I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about.
I was in my 20s when Seinfeld was big, so I was out at bars and I was like trying to meet people and stuff. I wasn't at home watching. TV. Not that I mean,
I just started having kids, so I was like
trying to make it sound like I was doing.
I was
cool
like
stuff.
breastfeeding and watching TV.
Yeah, and you watch Seinfeld, right?
Yeah.
But you see, I think I prefer Curb Your Enthusiasm over Seinfeld. I don't know if you ever watched Curb.
Yeah.
I love
that show.
Yeah,
I absolutely love Larry David.
I know. Oh my God! And when he was Bernie Sanders, that was just comedy gold. I just want him to just keep coming back. I had a couple things going on. I heard that the Kim Kardashian Letterman.
I watched it.
Was really good.
I can't stand that family, and I enjoyed the interview.
Me neither.
You gotta. I mean, I'm not gonna tell you. I'm not gonna say you liked it. Right. You're gonna like it. Watch it.
But Letterman was my other god.
Yeah.
I used to watch his morning show.
Oh, did you
on
really?
NBC. Yeah. And when he first was on, it was like 1980, 81, something like that. I was in high school and I used to go to swim practice in the morning. Then I'd come home and sit and eat Cocoa Puffs and watch David Letterman. And I thought he was so clever. And I always had that sense of humor, though, that I was kind of a few years ahead of people my age. I was a dork, and I would say things like, "Oh, we're going to my store, just shades," and they're like, "That's not funny."
Yeah,
I'm like, "But no, it is." Yeah. So anyway, but that's the other thing. Yeah, comedy is such a personal thing. You're right. You can't tell people, "Oh, you would love this."
Yeah, right.
And then get mad at them because they didn't think it was funny.
Right. And in case in point, people have been pushing Schitt's Creek on me. And I'm sure it's a great show. I couldn't get through the first episode. And I know it's blasphemy because I see people on there playing, "What Schitt's Creek character are you?" on Facebook and quoting lines. I can't grasp it.
I was like that. I watched, someone kept, swearing by it to me, and I watched like the first couple of episodes, and I'm like, I can't get into this. However, then like, I don't know, a year later, somebody kept making jokes. I'm like, okay. Oh, it was one of my daughters. She's like, no, just get through it. No, you got to do it.
Yeah.
And then I started watching it, and then I did. I think it had a lot to do with character development, and plus also, just Chris Elliott can be really tiring.
I used to love Chris Elliott, and
when
I wasn't
he was
grasping
man underneath the seat,
right,
man under the seats.
Right.
Yeah, it was too much. Oh, I'm Chris Elliott, and I'm doing really weird stuff, and I'm making you feel uneasy, and I'm like, no. And so they I think they realized, let's pull back on him, and the other characters were a little more funny, and they let them. So yeah, like.
Did you make it through?
I did, and I loved it.
Okay.
Loved it at the end. I didn't want it to end.
Yeah.
But yeah, the first episode, I was like,
I've had that happen so many times with shows. They're like, "Oh, you got to watch The Walking Dead."
Never. No,
get through that.
I got
through
so
the
much.
First, I had to watch the first episode twice.
Yeah.
Before I got into it. Same with Breaking Bad.
I was gonna say Breaking
Bad. I watched it. I'm like, nah. And then I forced myself to watch.
Yeah,
by the third episode, I was hooked.
Yeah.
But I had to force myself to get there.
Maybe I need to do that with Schitt's Creek. I don't know.
You gotta force yourself.
But I'd
to
much
Schitt's
rather
Creek.
a nice documentary about a husband knocking off a wife or something. I love those.
Saw that one too. Oh, I know. I'm
The
addicted.
one that's on there about the guy who threw his kids in the tank and killed the wife and buried her by the tanks. Did you see that?
I saw the one that he killed his wife and
Daughters.
daughters.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
the
they
little
threw
ones.
the daughters in like
'Cause
oil tanks.
I
I missed that part.
Oh,
Yeah, well,
that's you got to wait till the end.
well, what? Oh,
Is it the
sorry,
mini- a
spoiler
mini-
alert.
Yeah.
Is it the limited series one?
Yeah, no,
What is
the
it? The
director's cut.
next door? Something
No,
about
no.
next door or something.
The perfect family or
Yeah.
something. Yeah.
Well, you know what? And I'm addicted to like true crime shows, like the ID
too.
channel, Oxygen. I'm like just on that, and it's
Forensic Files.
Yes,
Yeah.
and Forensic Files, absolutely.
That's a good one.
And I've watched all these things so much over the years that I see them. Like yesterday, I was watching, I don't know, like a ID channel. I'm like, oh, I saw that when it was on Forensic Files
Yeah.
a few years
I
ago.
know this story.
It's like,
Yeah.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
But that one with the guy, she had gone to some trip with her girlfriend, a
Right.
work thing, right? And he comes home, and I knew from the minute he walks in, like,
calm.
yeah. Oh, I know she's not here. Oh, look she left her phone.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm like, dude, can you? He's at.
He even went as far as sending text to it. Where are you?
Yes.
Dude, you know where she is. She's buried
Exactly.
in the ground by the oil tank.
Exactly. So you can go with your new side chick.
See, I like that kind. I like the Nexium
See, I
cult.
love
You watch
that.
that one about Nexium? That's another good one.
I haven't watched it yet because I think it'll be too disturbing for me.
Really?
Well, just some stuff I'd been through. It
oh,
was like,
okay. You
I
did the
don't-
cult.
No.
Oh. Because if you did, I
No.
want to hear about it.
Yeah.
Controlling men. That
same
was
thing.
the kind.
Yeah.
Yeah. 6 of one, half
That's what
dozen
he
the
is,
other.
this guy.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I probably. I know I'll come around to do
You
it because
got to.
because I'm got so intrigued. Who's the chick that is the heiress, the
Catherine Oxenberg.
is she the booze? Is
Oh,
her
no, that was
no.
the Seagram's lady.
Seagram, yeah.
Yeah, I forget her name.
And
but
then-
Catherine Oxenberg's daughter was in it, too.
yeah. And was she a Bond girl, Catherine Oxenberg, or no?
Yeah, Dynasty.
Oh,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Big shoulder pads and all.
Yeah.
And no, the other somehow the booze lady, her parents had their own like Forensic Files show.
Right, they're
for
a
some
wacky family.
Yeah, for some other reason, somebody died or whatever. Not as oh my God, did you ever watch the one the DuPont guy?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. A real nutcase there, that one. Yeah. I like him. I
They
like
made that
I
Steve
know, I
Carell
love those.
movie out of that.
Yeah, that was a good one,
Fox-
too. We
Fox
called
Oh.
ourselves the
something.
Eagle or
Team Fox,
Yeah.
or something, whatever. Yeah.
That was a good one. He should get an Oscar for that. That was a good movie. I like that.
Crazy guy.
Okay.
Documentaries. I
I
love
do. Yeah.
comedy.
I love.
I guess I can't do the sitcoms anymore. I could, hey,
I'm not
Family
so much
Ties,
either.
Cheers,
Night Court.
Night Court.
Come on.
That was my lineup
Oh
back
yeah.
then.
Oh yeah.
I could do it. I could sit
Absolutely.
there for a half hour.
Yeah, I could. I think that was.
I can. It's got to be blood and killing.
I just like the psychological part of it.
So do I.
though.
Like,
It's
what happens?
What?
Like, just like doink, and
Exactly.
you're gonna be the guilty party if you kill your wife.
Yeah.
If
And
she
that's
goes
what
missing.
yeah, right. Who thinks they're going to get away with this stuff?
Right, just leave her and go have sex with the
Yeah,
one you're having sex with.
Exactly. And they're going to find that one goddamn carpet fiber on
Right.
her. So why fucking bother?
What about the ones that are like, right before he kills her, he takes out an insurance policy
Insurance
for
policy.
$85,000.
Oh my God.
How do you do that?
Seriously.
Don't you need her to sign off on it? How do you do that?
That's not going to be suspect at all.
Like when you go to get a credit card and you're a couple, you have to go in and sign together. You can just get as much insurance policy as you want.
What would you think if your wife came up to you and said, "Here, sign this. It's an
Yeah.
insurance policy on your life for $350,000."
Yeah.
Are you ready to go
Well-
hiking?
In Letchworth? Look at this
Oh, perhaps you'd like to get under this car and fix it while
Yeah.
it's up on blocks.
No, go higher. One rung higher. One
No, get
rung
under there
higher.
further.
view. Yeah.
Oh, that's terrible. See, we have such black humor.
Because we watch these
'Cause we
shows.
like, yeah. But yeah, I just don't know though. who thinks they're going to get away?
It's a weird mindset. And those people in that one with the guy we were just talking about that killed his wife.
Which one?
The one with
with
with the kids and acting like he didn't. And then, you know what? First of all, she was filming everything. That would have been a little annoying. Did you notice she was like everything with her phone? I'd be like, all right, put the fucking phone away.
She was in like in some MLM.
Yeah,
shit or
and she's
something.
like sending it to friends, and it was all about filming.
Oh, but wait, and I'm sorry to interrupt, but what was disturbing when they were reading the text that she
with
and
their
her
faces
friend
next to it.
Well, but all the intimate shit she was saying to her friend about we're not having sex anymore, and I just want him to touch me, and I'm like,
yeah, she's like, I took a shower. He knows what that means. I'm like, what? My wife showers all the time. Is
I know.
Did you shower, Scott? Is it?
I shower afterwards. I shower.
Oh, I haven't showered. I just was. Yeah. So maybe
you
if
already know what I smell like.
Yeah, you smell good.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are the kind of shows I like, and maybe that's why I can't grasp onto the comedies like that anymore. Here, and this is no joke. Last week, I started The Sopranos. I started The Sopranos.
Oh yeah.
I'm on episode 7. I love it. But back then, 99, everybody's like, oh, you gotta watch it. You gotta watch it. Maybe that's why everybody's telling me I have to.
Yeah.
But it took me 20 years to.
I didn't watch The Sopranos until a couple years ago.
Good.
Myself. Yeah,
I'm totally addicted to this.
And I watched it right away because I love that gangster stuff.
Yeah,
like,
me too.
Godfather 1 and 2 are my all-time favorite.
Yep.
and then Goodfellas is
course,
up there.
That's my Thanksgiving ritual every year is to watch Godfather 1 and 2.
1 and 2. Yep. Yeah, you got to forget. I don't even know why they waste some money.
Exactly.
Right?
When they suck you right back in. Isn't that number 3?
Yeah.
Number 3. That's about the only memorable thing from it.
Yeah,
and that's not that memorable.
Right.
But.
That just don't need it. Never should have been made, right, Scott?
Exactly. But Al must have needed the money or something. But wait, wasn't the Coppola's kid was in it?
Yeah, Sophia.
Yeah,
Sophia.
Daughter,
Yes.
Yeah. I guess that maybe it was designed a vehicle for her.
So she needed.
She was a great director.
Exactly.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
Fantastic director.
No
yes.
shit.
Yep.
Didn't know. Oh, can you swear here?
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Now I got to click the little explicit checkbox. Thanks.
Whatever.
It's Madge. It's got to be. It's Madge.
Oh, actually, you have to do that now, not me. That's right.
Yeah.
You handle all that stuff for your podcast. All right.
Fuck am I paying you for? No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah, Scott.
My rapist wit and handsome good looks.
Yes.
And terrible Russian
Your
accent.
rapist? No,
Rapist.
that's not funny. Sorry. That was terrible.
I love this show.
so-
This is great.
Thank you.
I love it.
Thank you.
Great format. You just come in and bullshit.
Yeah, that's pretty
Learn
much
a little
it.
something about each other.
Actually, somebody did say that to me the other day. Could I get asked, like, oh, you have a podcast? What's it about? And I'm like, oh, it's just like sitting around at a bar or your kitchen table talking just bullshitting with friends. And somebody goes, no, it's the Seinfeld of podcasts. It's a show about nothing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, but I like my explanation better.
I don't even, but you learn, and you have a guest and you learn about somebody each time, right?
Absolutely.
So, all right. I don't know.
So wait, what do you do again?
Yeah. Porn.
Oh, yes. Porn voiceover.
Moan for us, Todd.
That's what I sound like when I orgasm.
So good. That's so good. A little to the left, honey.
Oh. Ooh.
Ow!
My hip.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's what it's like these days.
Yeah.
My God. No, move over. Not there.
This segment was brought to you by Lysol.
On that note, Todd, I'm so happy you came in.
I'm happy you had me. I'm a total nobody, and you had me in here. I love it.
Oh, my God.
I love
you're
it.
not a nobody.
I really am.
No, you're not.
You're somebody, Todd. Let me tell you, you're somebody, kid.
You
going
could have
far.
been, and you are somebody.
I
Going
could have
far.
been.
So,
But thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you. I hope to have you back again.
Well, yeah. If you need to fill in like last minute, call me. If I'm available,
Where
I'll
were
be
you
here.
last week?
I couldn't do it.
Oh, that's right. I did ask you.
You did. Who are you again?
Oh shit! Right? No, I sent out a broadcast email. No, I'm kidding. You were the only person I asked. But Fitz and we had our veteran special, right?
Oh, that's good.
That's right.
It's kind of weird. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Fitz, as always, Thank you.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving to you as well. Shit,
Enjoy
now
your
I can't ever
daughters.
rerun this again because you mentioned Thanksgiving. No, I'm kidding.
Let's do this. Try it again. 3,
Kidding.
2, 1. Happy Easter. In case you ever want to do a
Happy Arbor Day.
yeah.
Happy Hanukkah.
Oh, you didn't count in. 3,
I thought, yeah.
3, 2, 1.
Happy Arbor Day.
Yeah.
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 Next up, we have Happy
Happy
Earth Day.
There's a day for everything now.
There is.
Yeah, we won't get into
We
that.
won't get into that.
That's another
Anyway,
show.
That is a whole
That is-
nother show. I
that's a
could go
whole-
off on that.
Whole nother
crap.
ball of wax. Okay. Todd, Scott, audience, thank you. Oh, wait, one quick thing. Todd, where are you on social media?
Yes, I am. You can follow
Under
me
what?
at Todd Youngman on Facebook or at Todd Youngman on Instagram, and that's it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. And follow Rockfox Studios.
At rock_vox.
Oh, you had to make
That?
it difficult. You had to throw.
Yeah.
You know, it used to
Seriously.
be Rockvox Recording, and then I had a Twitter specialist tell me that I'm supposed to change it because I should make it rock_vox.
Do you hear something, Madge?
What?
Do you hear something? Oh, yeah, me.
No,
either.
I'm not. I don't. What? So yeah, and I'm at Madge Madigan. Nowadays though, you can just put in the name and shit pops up.
Yep.
So
Will you be posting another thirst trap? Maybe this weekend?
oh my God. Okay.
Or is that a whole other episode?
That's a whole other episode. Did you know what
I know
thirst
what a
trap meant?
yes,
Okay.
yeah.
So it was a joke because I have 20-year-old kids,
Yeah.
and so it was just a picture of me, those who didn't see it on Facebook, and it was just,
Yeah.
and I was trying to be sexy and coquettish and all, and it just said thirst trap, and I was trying to be funny because I'm a 55-year-old woman.
What's
Oh
a
my-
thirst trap?
It's when you purposely
to get
put a good shot of you up, like she had a little sleeve
Sex-
showing,
yeah.
a little lace, or not lace. What was that?
Yeah, it was mesh up the
chiffon.
top,
What was
mesh
that up
top
there?
ish.
Yeah, and it was a good shot.
Thank you.
It was. I gave her the wow emoji. The
Yeah,
remember
this
that.
one.
Yeah, and a lot of people were like, and it's a woman or guy. It's
Yeah.
makes it kind of sexy to get attention.
Sure,
It's all it is.
but
to
you were
get
doing
it.
it as a joke.
I was doing it as a joke, and I should have maybe said something more than just thirst trap or
JK.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I got solicited.
Oh, did you get some
on
DMs?
DMs. I
Oh,
did.
did you
Of
really?
course.
Did you
I-
get mine?
No.
Oh, okay.
I have the filter on you.
Oh, okay.
You went right to my personal.
Follow Madge on TikTok. That is a show.
Oh,
that
thank
is a
you.
show.
It is.
But yeah, I actually had men.
Did they
who-
send nudes?
No. I stopped getting dick pics like 5 years ago. So, thank God.
Yeah.
But
Good for
yeah,
you.
no, I got some like, hey, so I'm like,
Yeah. So
that
you-
wasn't what it
Now
was.
they send you
about.
resumes.
they were soliciting
Ew.
sex from you.
I think
Let's hook
so.
up kind of
yeah,
things?
yeah,
Mm.
yeah. You're,
Maybe don't do it again.
yeah, no, no.
It's you caused that.
Yeah, I know.
But that's
I brought
adorable.
it upon myself.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It was
I
a good
wanted to be
shot. It was a good
funny.
picture.
Thank you.
It really was. I
Thank
know you're trying to
you.
be funny.
Maybe next time I need to show cleavage and go,
It was cleavage.
yeah, it was.
I mean, that's
Okay.
where my eye went. Okay,
Thinly
hey, that was a
veiled.
good
All
show.
right. Woohoo! Okay. Anyway, oh, you know what? I forgot to say this was also brought to you by Stick and Rudder in Fairhaven, New York. Fabulous craft beer, cocktails, magnificent food, and the coolest people. Go to Fairhaven, New York, to the Stick and Rudder Public House. Okay. And as always, Rockfox Studios, check them out. Again, for the 18th time, Todd,
Yes.
thank you.
Thank you.
Scott,
Thank
thank you. And audience, thank you. And we're going weekly now instead of
Oh.
bi-weekly. Yes.
That's nice.
I'm no longer bi. I'm just weekly.
That's hot.
That
I'm
wasn't even
soaking in it
low-hanging
now.
fruit. That was on the
I
ground
know.
rotting.
Again. Yeah, it was. Sorry. I go for what I can.
Say goodbye, Madge.
Say goodbye. Goodbye, Madge. We'll see you next week.